Alright, well, welcome back to Otaku News Live Reborn, where we're going to be talking about the anime and manga news of the week. Lots going on. Got a full complement of guest hosts with me today, including Brad Barker. How you doing today, Brad?
Pretty good. Hello.
Glad to hear it. Also got Miniman back. How you doing, Miniman?
Warning, this video contains bias. If you comment, you die.
And how's it going, Zan?
Hello everyone, Rising Zen here once again to get it off, and let's get the news on.
Alright, and we are starting off, we're starting off with some upcoming anime information, stuff that will be coming out over in Japan fairly soon. There's going to be, first off, an adaptation of the manga Spiral. This was actually announced a while back, but didn't make it onto the news show. They're going to be calling it Grave 10, and there's a promotional video available on their website, which does not have any actual animation in it, FYI. It's a sort of promotional video showing some imagery from the manga. But it is out there, and they're going to be releasing Final Spiral, is a very popular manga, and it's going to be out there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think actually, I remember there once being a anime adaptation of Spiral before. I could be wrong, but I know that it was very popular.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's good. Probably the other big upcoming anime news is the complete reboot of HunterxHunter. There's going to be a complete anime retelling from the beginning version of HunterxHunter rather. Will be starting, I believe it's later this year. I'll go and check that here real quick, but we're going to get a full reboot. I'm kind of wondering, I mean, I know it's hugely popular, but it's very rare to see someone go back and completely reanimate it from scratch.
Well, they're doing already catching, so 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah. That's another, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Kenshin, but yeah.
Yeah.
New staff,
yeah,
no kidding. New staff, new cast, retelling the story from the beginning. It's premiering October 2nd, running every Sunday. So, it's weird. So, yeah, sort of an odd one. Moving on, some K-On! News. We now know the basic premise of the upcoming K-On! Film, and if you don't want spoilers as to where they will be in the upcoming film, that's all they've announced. But if you don't want spoilers, cover your ears. They'll be in England. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen in K-On! They'll be on a field trip there, and that's all we know. So that's cool. Actually, K-On! Got some other props in the media recently. There was a recent light music contest in Saitama Prefecture on August 4th for various light music clubs, and there were over 100 entrants in the contest, which is very rare for light music clubs. And they're saying that basically K-On! Caused this big upswing in folks, wanting to be part of light music clubs. It kind of restarted the light music phenomenon in Japan. Pretty cool.
Wow. That sounds popular cartoons. It's pretty impressive to reinvigorate culture to a cartoon. Can I just say, does anyone think that the film's premise is just going to be really stereotypical racist?
Of course.
Just oh look, phone box. But more like konnichiwa. I don't think I'm going to be that bad. Good point. I know about the whole government thing. Because honestly, they think, to me, Japanese consider England and America the...
Hello? Yep. I think we lost Dan there.
The word was same. I think they are going to make it where, there's going to be that stereotypical English-speaking guy that comes up, but it's the Japanese voice actor. He's going to be like, hello, how are you today?
Yeah. Probably.
Just make hair out, I'm here. I like anime. You might want to, someone who can do a real British accent.
There we go. Imagine that.
How funny it is, one of the directors was watching this, he's like, I like that guy.
There we go. We'll go with it.
If you know him from KO, I'm here and I'll do the film for you.
Absolutely. So good on K-On! Other anime coming up soon, Toaru Hikushi e no Shioku, which is not part of the Toaru Majutsu no Index or Toaru Kagaku no Railgun franchise. They do not have a trademark on Toaru. So there's this film coming out called Toaru Hikushi. It is basically the story of it's sort of roughly middle of the century guy goes to rescue a princess in a plane. Very quiet sort of story based on a light novel. But again, this is not part of the Toaru thing, so just FYI. But that is coming soon, and it looks like it has they got the guy who did the character designs for Sakura Wars and Oh My Goddess, so it has kind of that more 90s style to the designs a little bit. And looks like a nice story. It's nice to see some more just serious, quiet stories out there. Speaking of which, we're also going to be getting a new anime film called A Letter to Momo, which is being directed by the guy who directed Jinro. Yeah, that film. He's directing a film, and he's basically doing a sort of a Mamoru Hosoda style film, sort of a Summer Wars-ish film about a girl whose father has disappeared, and she has a letter from him, and she's spending sort of this quiet summer, and no idea what happens. Probably there's some weird stuff that happens. But we're getting another serious. It's like we've got this little renaissance going on of serious, quiet anime, which is kind of nice to see.
Spoilers. I think the girl is called Mona.
Ooh.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the quiet anime, so that'd be nice to see.
Yeah. And speaking of quiet stuff, we had a frustratingly minimal information about Hayao Miyazaki's next film. We know it will be an autobiography. We don't know of whom it will be an autobiography, whether he's adapting an existing autobiography of someone else, or his own, we don't know.
It can't be his own autobiography, let's face it. If you've read about him, his first 50 years and it's so boring. it's just, I worked under everyone as a little animator, and then I made it.
And then I worked.
With enough on my bells and whistles, they can make anything look flashy.
That's true.
I mean, look at card fighting anime.
Yes, that's true. There is a certain amount of, woke up, went to work, worked for 12 hours, came home. I don't know, but we'll see. So it is good to know that Hayao is working on a new film. He will be doing something coming up. So yeah, more from him.
I love it. One of those fictional autobiographies that he just did. Ghibli does 1984. Well, that'd be so good, actually.
That would be fascinating.
It's going to be a brand new movie, big hype. Miyazaki style. Card fighting champion. No, you know he's going to be. That's terrible. No, he's going to choose the worst possible warriors. Okay, let's see. I'm now popular in the West. Who could I do? Katie Price is popular in the West. She has an autobiography. Oh God. I'm not even a John Lasseter. He has done the world education of Minecraft.
There we are. Perfect. That would not surprise me, sadly.
He's the boy in the striped pajamas.
A little bit of licensing news this week. Sentai Filmworks has announced that they have licensed number 6, an anime that is still airing over in Japan. Now, Zan, have you seen number 6?
I have seen number 6. I'm currently watching number 6. It is very good. A lot of yaoi undertones could be found because they did two friends of both guys. It's very interesting because one's kind of the good guy and sees the light things. One's anyway, and one's the guy who's been scarred too much by the city. And basically, number 6 is this city, but it's really control, over control. Everyone has to wear an armband. That is usually used as a gadget, but is actually used to also control, contact people where they are. Okay. It's one of those kind of stories. It's really interesting, and I can see why, but I don't think that I should have bought it. And then again, it's probably cheaper now, while it's still going. So
could well be.
It's pretty good though.
Yeah, fair enough.
I want to find a guy who's who finds it as his sixth favorite anime, so then you can just go, number 6 is number 6.
Nice.
Yeah, and also it does have the yaoi throughout undertones. That seems to be popular, especially with Italia, so might not be a bad idea.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not complete yaoi, but it has yaoi, like, a yaoi vibe to it.
Right.
Yeah,
Understood.
Freak out anyone. It's not the yaoi, it's the boys club type thing.
Right.
I'm just saying the two main characters are both guys.
Understood. Yeah. Acknowledge.
Okay.
Alright, so moving on to a bunch of Tiger and Bunny news, speaking of recent anime.
Tiger and Bunny.
The final episode of Tiger and Bunny will be run in theaters, simultaneous with the actual broadcast on television. Apparently they're trying to really push up the the popularity of Tiger and Bunny. And apparently that's not too hard considering that Tiger and Bunny was the most popular Twitter hashtag amongst anime in both June and July in Japan. So a lot of discussion about Tiger and Bunny over there.
Ross, you make fun of me for this, I'm going to kill you. Yeah, I mean, Ross is obsessive. Oh, it's horrible. So Tiger and Bunny is a really good show going on in Japan. I've been catching up. I think it's, personally for me, it's kind of hitting some bumps because Bunny is being to revert back into his no
spoilers.
I don't know. It's not really spoilers, but yeah. Okay, also making a game out of it.
Correct. That's what I was going to move on to. Namco Bandai has announced that they're now developing a video game version of Tiger and Bunny. No information on platform or platforms supported. Just that there's going to be a game. So hopefully it will be fun.
It's a fighter.
Yeah, probably.
No, it's going to be they're just going to overhash the Dynasty Warriors Gundam stuff instead of Tiger and Bunny in it.
Dinosaur Warriors? They could.
I don't know about Dynasty Warriors. I think it's going to be a fighter. I love that they just made them like characters of Soul Calibur 5. That'd be such a good announcement.
There we go.
Yeah.
So let's see here. What else? So a couple of live action bits of news this past couple of weeks. Kind of interesting. So Stars, the actual channel, has announced that they are moving forward on a live-action adaptation of Noir, the anime series from a couple of years ago, to the point where they plan to air it next summer. So, so clearly, this isn't just a neat idea. They actually have it slated and all that kind of good stuff. This was confirmed, I think, last week. And
Noir is the female assassin show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The two female assassins. They've leaked some information about what they plan to do with it in terms of the storyline. They're going to switch some things around, give Mireille a boyfriend, things like that. Just a couple of things for that kind of the story that they want to tell. But otherwise, it'll still have the same basic story structure. It's still going to have Mireille and Kirika and Japanese schoolgirl, whole 9 yards. But
if I want a live-action TV show about two assassins, I get Phantom. Thank you. Oh, live-action Phantom. God damn it.
Yeah. But it's interesting that there have been a few announcements of folks trying to make live-action adaptations of anime series as TV shows. This is the first one I think of that's really gone forward.
Yeah. So it's going to be a live-action television show.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I thought it was going to be like a live-action made-for-TV movie type thing, and I was like,
yeah. They say live-action adaptation. Who knows?
I'm pretty sure Stars doesn't have much in a good reputation of made-for-TV movies.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will see. Hopefully it'll be something that, it's interesting work. The only thing, the last, I don't think, there hasn't really been a Western adaptation of something as a TV series. We'll see.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, some live-action Evangelion non-news, basically. ADV Films has sued Gainax over rights to the live-action Evangelion movie plans that haven't moved forward in like 5 years. So basically, ADV has been pursuing making live-action films out of Evangelion for quite a while now. They actually work with Weta the folks who did the special effects for Lord of the Rings, who are on board, but it's still totally in development hell. It hasn't gone anywhere further. And the problem is, and the problem is Gainax, ADV has been making payments on the rights they have for these live-action movies, and basically they've been asking Gainax for the confirmation that they actually still have the rights, and Gainax hasn't been telling them diddly squat. So it's gotten to the point now where ADV has sued, and they've in the lawsuit they've specifically asked the court to get clarification from Gainax: do we have this or not? What's going on? So they're not actually. Well, the main problem is they've been paying about $2,500 a year for the rights, and then they paid $100,000 earlier in 2010 as a big payment for the next set of stuff, and they haven't heard back from Gainax about any of that. So like, was that $100,000 worth anything? And so the lawsuit is basically, tell us what we have and tell us if that $100,000 is something we should just get refunded.
So basically, Gainax stop watching hentai and start answering things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just kind of surprising.
It looks very interesting. So I'm hoping ADV gets something out of it. Mm-hmm. I'd really like to see what they did with it.
The current plan, as they list on the court order, is that their plans include 3 live-action theatrical motion pictures, 5 television programs, and 3 direct-to-video movie products.
That'd be awesome. Wow. I've never watched an Evangelion thing, but it still sounds awesome.
Yeah. Now, those 5 television programs might include the original anime series that they still have the rights to?
Yeah.
I don't know. But they certainly don't have 5 different Evangelion series. I don't know what's going on there. And the other thing too is, to be fair, those are probably 5 ideas they have. And that's it. But still, hey, it would be nice to see that actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
But
no, they just show the Yoko Stars music video on a loop to keep the fans happy. Yeah.
Pretty much.
You are my friend.
So, speaking of lawsuits and legal stuff, one quick thing is that a man in Japan, a young man, 28-year-old man, was arrested because he uploaded an episode of, I believe it was Taramujutsu no Index Series 2, Season 2, and the police came a-knocking, only to find out that it wasn't just for that. He's been uploading huge amounts of anime, and if ANN would cooperate, I could tell you the exact number, but it won't. So this is yet another in one of those cases of the police actually now going after folks who are uploading anime in Japan illegally.
My friend, I stood with you. Out of memory, he's uploaded about 2,256 gigabytes of animation. Well done, lad.
That's
keeping us Westerners happy.
Pretty much. That's probably why.
That's equivalent to about 3,000 movies.
Yeah. Wow. So that no surprise there that happened. Meanwhile, and this is one that was quite surprising. Upper Deck has sued itself. I am not joking. But specifically, it sued its own subsidiary. So here's the basic information, and I'm still trying to pull up the rest of the information here. But basically, so here's how it came down. Sit back. So Upper Deck is a Dutch company, European. They got the original rights from Konami to release Yu-Gi-Oh cards worldwide outside of Asia. Upper Deck has a subsidiary in California. So the Dutch company basically said, we will distribute Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Europe. The California company will make and distribute Yu-Gi-Oh cards in North America and South America, as well as Central America. But the European country didn't have the capacity to make the cards, so they said, okay, California company, you make all the cards. But but you just only sell yours in North America and South America, whatever. Send the rest to us, and we distribute those in Europe. A couple of years ago, they then found out that subsidiary apparently has been manufacturing a very large number of counterfeit cards. So So the California company has been producing all of this stuff to pump up the number of Yu-Gi-Oh cards out there. That's when things get particularly interesting. Konami then stepped in and said, "Oh no, we're shutting you down." The Dutch company came back and said, "Well, if you have a problem, you have a problem with our California subsidiary, not with us. They're the ones who screwed up." The Dutch company then paid the California company $1 million in legal fees to basically work through this in the court and then explain what the heck they did to Konami. They now claim that the California company basically told Konami, "We admit it, we counterfeited all of this, and we now relinquish all rights to Yu-Gi-Oh! Everywhere around the world." And the Dutch company is now saying, whoa, no. And so now they're screaming and yelling about that. And Konami apparently now thinks thought based on that basically they are still okay in just dropping all of their licenses with all Upper Deck around the world. So the Dutch company has now sued the California company to say, "You screwed us over, pay us back for the massive amount of money we have lost through losing the entire Yu-Gi-Oh account."
Wait, so now you make fun of that kid in the schoolyard about him having a counterfeit card. Now it turns out that it came from the factory.
Yes.
So basically, there's going to be a lot of people going, Yu-Gi-Oh! Told us it's counterfeit cards, going, no, this is mine. From the factory, from Upper Deck, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Told us won't exist anymore.
Yeah.
How do you make counterfeit cards from a factory? How do you make counterfeit cards from the actual factory? How does that work?
Because...
Well, the thing about...
Go ahead.
The thing about counterfeit cards is you can also sell them independently on, eBay and things like that, so...
What I suspect is basically they were contracted to make 20,000 of card X. They made 30,000, and then sold the extra.
So because they made more, they're counterfeit.
Well, because they were not allowed to make those extra.
Yeah, that would really change the anime series, wouldn't it? Well, Kaiba, there are only 5 of these cards in the world. Actually, there are 15. What? Upper Deck distributed them.
That's the thing. Go ahead, Brad.
That makes sense. So they're contracted to make 20,000 of card X.
Mm-hmm.
They make 30,000. And they sell those 10,000 for their own personal profit outside of the 20,000 that were contracted between 3 different companies.
Mm-hmm. And remember, you got cards that are supposed to be rare, supposed to be uncommon, and they can make however many of those they want, and profit off of them as though they are rare, even though now they're not.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nasty.
Honestly, I stopped dealing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the rules make sense. They always have to ban a card every single new edition and just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
It's been. Yeah, it's
play Magic, kids. Yu-Gi-Oh! For show. Play Vanguard. Play Card Cycle Vanguard. That game actually makes sense and has an anime that's awesome. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Makes sense and has an anime that's awesome. Or had an
All right, moving on. So getting into some more, let's just say some various news. Some more miscellaneous stuff. More about Aya Hirano, who has become kind of the, she's in the news every week, isn't she? She has confirmed she is leaving her talent agency, which should not be news. But the thing is, basically, from what we can tell, her talent agency has been pushing her to not work in certain anime series and really pushing around her roles and how she's supposed to do things. That hasn't been working out very well for her career-wise. So she's announced that, yes, she is leaving her talent agency, moving on to somebody else. Good for her. Hope that works out for her.
Yay.
Whatever. But hey, at least that's going to work out. Sort of an odd one here. Whoa, I don't want to show you all of this at once. There we go. So, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, if I can actually show it to you. Because this does not want to work. Oh, that's interesting. Why am I not getting... There I am. So, let me ask you this. Yes, exactly. So, who does this look like to you?
Hey, it's Mega Green.
Yeah, that is not Pikachu at all. That is actually a mascot for an environmental program in Japan. And they made a costume out of it. And folks started saying, that looks familiar. And lots of complaints later, it has basically been pulled. The folks who made it said, and as we mentioned earlier, the actual original design doesn't look that much like Pikachu, but once you make it into a costume, it does. And they added some other stuff that looks very Pikachu-like. And so yeah, they've been pulled down. But
the wording of the article is brilliant. Pikachu look like mascot costume, abandoned by city.
Yeah.
So the city's just gone, no, we're leaving. You're coming with me.
I imagine them looking...
taking their children.
Just sitting there in the street looking sad. So let's see here, moving on to more Otaku-related news. So New Type Japan, one of the biggest magazines in Otakudom over in Japan, has announced that they're going to start a new yearly anime award contest, an anime film festival, called New Type X Machi Asabi the Moving Pictures Festival. Will be hosted in Tokushima Prefecture in September and October, and they're asking folks to submit anime titles for best anime of the past year or so. And the list is a little odd. Among things like The World God Only Knows, and let's see here, Hanasaku Iroha, and Madoka Magica, there are also titles like Infinite Stratos, Star Driver, Dog Days, stuff that you just... Bakuto Test Season 2?
Yeah. Is C in there?
No, it is not.
No, just C.
No, C is not in there.
What? Yeah,
Steins Gate.
Awesome.
Steins Gate is not in there. Usagi Drop is not in there.
Wait, is it like a year from now, the last year from now? Or?
It is from everything that was released between October and July.
So, is Angel Beats Justice? No, that was like a year ago, I think.
Yeah, I think that was summer. So I think Angel Beats wouldn't have missed. But and there's a lot of stuff here that just seems a little odd to me. I don't know.
Very odd. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who know what Funimation does all the time, you've probably heard of Bakuto Test or tests and
Summon
summoning.
Beast.
Summon Beast. Yeah. Anyway, Bakuto Test Season 2 of the Watching the Funimation subs. I'm sorry, but it's terrible for how the original. I love it, but Season 2 is the same joke every single episode with different settings. Yeah. A lot of these anime are pretty good. Like Dog Days was actually really good anime, but
it's fun.
Best in number one for the whole year. Don't know about that. Star Driver, don't get me started on. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That show is so slow. I'm still stuck with C's not in there. It just seems like perfect for a best of year thing.
Yeah.
It is. But you said this is like picked by fans.
Apparently, yes. It was based on an online forum.
Yeah. C didn't get the views. It got the ratings, but no, it got the critical reception, but not the views.
True. So we'll see where it goes. I'm just kind of wondering, do we really need another award thing?
No. We always need more awards. The Otaku Video Awards coming next week.
There we are.
Well, more opinions are nice, but when it comes to reviews where it's like, okay, pick your favorites, everyone.
Yeah.
Like, for example, American Idol. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, but no. Stuff cannot be judged on popularity contest. It has to be judged from people who do review stuff for a living.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
and that's why their what's the word I'm looking for? Their respect, their image is on the line.
Understood.
Yeah, and like QD2 44 saying, "Oh, I love no, I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but I love Bakugo season 2 isn't qualified. I don't want to say qualified. I don't think if he gets all her friends together to vote for Bakugo for the reward, it doesn't work.
Gotcha.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of Funimation, Funimation has announced they are discontinuing their download-to-own service. This was where you could buy an anime and actually download the file and keep it. Not going to happen anymore. If you have any coupons or anywhere else you want to redeem, use them by August 20th, so not much time left. If you've downloaded any episodes up until now, they'll continue to play, but if you try to copy them, or you try to copy them to another device, or delete them and re-download them, ain't going to work from this point on. So the files you have are the files you will have forever. So I hope you never have another computer ever in your life.
If you're English, don't need to worry about the story, because you never got it.
There we go. I suspect it's one of those projects that never really worked out anyway. I don't know anyone who ever used this service.
I didn't even know this service existed.
Exactly.
But again, I'm British.
Yeah.
I just watch the subs online when they're on Funimation's YouTube channel.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I just go out and buy their DVDs of Fast and Requiem for the wait, it doesn't exist here, does it?
Alright, so moving on, here's an odd one. Disney, yes, that Disney, has announced they've taken one of the screenwriters on Night at the Museum, and they've got him to work on a script for a film adaptation of Tuxedo Gin, the manga. Yeah, this is the manga where a guy dies and comes back, and is offered the chance to come back and becomes a penguin, because that's his girlfriend's favorite animal, and so he basically ends up living with her as a penguin.
And actually ensues.
Yes, Echinus ensues, of course, because she, hugs him all the time and so forth.
Yeah, so here's one thing. I'm thinking we're going to do something like the Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
How does a penguin live in, suburban area anyway? I mean, don't penguins need the cold? Or can they live anywhere?
They can live pretty much anywhere, I think. I mean, nothing really, really hot, but I'm sure if you kept them air conditioned, they'd be fine. I don't know.
Well, the thing about these Disney films, like these ones, always follows the same formula. They go to New York, they go around all the shops,
True.
And then they're a bit weird, and then they're like, you know what, everyone doesn't respect me for being weird, I'm going to run away. And the woman runs after her, like, you know what, I feel respected by you, and that's enough. And then he turns back into the human, the end.
Exactly. So, we'll get that.
I first had more idea was there's some sort of evil penguin collector, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the idea I had, but I'm gonna not read the manga and see just how it is with Disney, but I'm not crossing my fingers.
I guess the bigger surprise is the fact that Disney is actually adapting a manga.
Well, they should have adapted a better one, or not a better one, but a more
interesting
one.
Yeah.
Well, I think it doesn't matter how
Berserk!
I just think the thing is that, you're getting the screenwriter for Night at the Museum. I mean, okay, Night at the Museum was a pretty good film, but I don't think it was the screenwriter's fault that was a reasonably good film. To be honest, because the cinematography, all that sort of thing, wasn't exactly great. It was just sort of the scripted thing, not the screenwriter.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe he talked to someone.
Yeah, could well be. And of course the other thing too is, the fact that Disney is getting someone to write a script does not mean in any way, shape, or form that the movie will definitely be made. So, who knows?
Because that technically doesn't mean they've even bought the rights to it.
True.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on to some game news, actually.
Put down my controller. I didn't think driver San Francisco in my face.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Bandai has announced launching a new online trading card game called Cyber One. What's particularly interesting about this one, you can create your own avatars, use cards, summon various creatures, so forth and so on, it's aimed at men in their late teens to 30s, which is not the typical, group you're expecting to be aimed at, but they're looking for, older teens up to young men. So that's pretty cool. The company they are going with, Net Cardass, that is their name, also produced Gundam Chronicle Battleen, Pro Baseball Owners Leagues, and Digimon Gintrix. So, as I recall, pretty solid successes. There's a preview out there, but it's basically just, art thrown at you. One other interesting thing about it, slightly scary in a kind of Ghost in the Shell way, in the game you decide to become, to basically work for one of 4 fictional companies in this future world. So you can decide sort of which company decides which cards you use. So they're kind of, expecting you to work for a company, which is just odd.
Not really odd. I remember a Digimon game for the PS1 was released, where basically you had to choose one of 3 companies, and depending on what company you get a starter Digimon. One was like the neutral company, where you get an Agumon. One was the light company, where you get a Patamon, the angel one, and one was the evil. Not really evil, but like they were more chaotic. But like, here's the thing: each of them had like basically the same slogan where you were basically sworn in, where it's like do uphold, But basically the difference was you got Digimon and the screen for each of these companies looks different.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, I kind of like the whole company thing, because basically it says when they say companies, it's like saying guilds. So you're in the guild of the Phantom Crest or something like that. That's all. Well, it's just a futuristic way of saying it.
Yeah.
Even that, it's just kind of, if anything, it's more just JRPG. I mean, JRPG is known for restricting what you can do very much depending on what class you are. This is really just another way of masking the fact that they are actually just changing what class you are. So it's not really an odd thing in terms of, if you think of it, that it is any JRPG in that sort of case.
Very good point. Yeah. But, so that will be coming out at some point. Of course, that will be coming out in Japan, so we'll see if it makes it out over here. Somewhere outside of Japan. But that's cool.
Is it one of those arcade card games?
I don't know.
I would think it is, personally.
Yeah.
Unless it's online card game, so who knows?
Yeah.
Good news, everyone. I now also, for the next news story, something I can bitch about not being in England as
Catherine has been released in the U.S., and the publisher Atlas has announced that 200,000 copies were sold in its first week, which is pretty darn impressive.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Catherine is like this, the one Japanese game that it's clearly stable as a Japanese game because of how crazy it is, and honestly, I love it. Many men first told me about it, and I checked it out myself, it looks awesome, and Catherine is the clear distinction of being a Japanese game by what they give you as a pre-order. They give you a pizza box with a pair of the boxes that looks just like the one the protagonist wears.
Pizza, the one that Catherine with the C wears.
Yes. A Catherine pillow, and of course the game box that comes with it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And as for the game, it's basically about this guy who's basically his longtime girlfriend is thinking about wants to settle down, get married finally. He's kind of iffy about it, and this girl Catherine comes in who's like just completely about fun and very loose, and basically it's 2 different girls with different spectrum essentially. It's basically affairs and choice meet Qbert. Yes, definitely Qbert.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's very Qbertian in nature.
Yeah. It's certainly done very well, and if nothing else, good news for Japanese games outside of Japan. A solid success for a very Japanese game.
Well, the thing is, we say that, but Atlas just have always been like that with their games. I mean, Persona sells brilliantly in the States.
True.
And, I mean, that's the thing.
Advance Wars.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going, and when I complain, it's out in America and getting all these things, I'm saying that's a bad thing for us. That is a bad thing for England, because Atlas are known for not bringing stuff here. Persona has never been brought here. Shin Megami's never been brought here.
so many Atlas games we don't get, and the thing is that Catherine is saved into one of them, despite the fact that I have followed that game since day one and even put it on our Otaku notes. Good show,
You did.
Yeah. So,
many men there.
Yeah.
This podcast about
So, if you are interested in getting your younger siblings, perhaps, into anime, want to see if there's some way of pulling them in using some special product, use Hello Kitty. It's the best thing you can use Hello Kitty for. Sanrio has announced they're partnering with Mattel to release a Hello Kitty themed Uno card game, basically a deck of Uno cards with Hello Kitty artwork on them, which, hey, it's a way of getting folks into the things so they'll know what it is, so why not?
I got related to anime last week by playing with some Harry Suzumir playing cards. So there you go.
Hello Kitty is a weird thing here in the States, at least. Like, everyone knows Hello Kitty, they've seen Hello Kitty everywhere, but never once have I seen the actual Hello Kitty anime over here.
Have you not?
No.
It's awesome. My favorite
it is, but I've never seen the anime over here. On television. I've seen Puka, that's kind of like Hello Kitty, I think, except it's Ninja.
I'm not sure that the Hello Kitty anime has ever actually been released over here.
Yeah, I think it has.
Well, I take that back. It hasn't been released on DVD, I know, but I don't think it's been broadcast on television.
I think it's just like the muscle action figures that you had in those the pinball machines. They never released Kinnikuman over here.
Yeah, exactly. Very weird. So, yeah.
No, I'm just concerned now. Like, why they always market Hello Kitty so much? I think they should market some of the other characters like Bats and Arrows, because he's my favourite, because he is just a suicidal penguin.
That's probably why.
But,
so, moving on. Rusty Hearts. New...
Oh, yeah, right.
Skip that.
Nope.
Here it is.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. We're fine.
Is a cel-shaded, free-to-play online MMO side-scrolling fighting game, and hack and slash fighting game, side-scrolling thing, and it just went on closed beta. So, and if you go on www.rustyhearts.perfectworld.com, quickly sign up before the closed beta places are taken. And if any of you sign up, I'll give us a comment on YouTube and I'll organise some play dates with you.
Nice.
Yeah. It actually looks really interesting. I've seen a review video on it from my site. A guy did like a short little 9-minute game review of it. It's hack and slash, so it's not just like, QWE, QWE, like World of Warcraft style. You can level up, you can change it. Basically, it comes with 4 initial characters, at least there's 3 released though. But there's 4, and you can you can customize them with different costume bits, different weapons, stuff like that.
They all have like different stories as well. There's a really good party up feature. You can and you get like awarded Devil May Cry style in that. Instead of awarded how much damage you do and how stylish your kills are. So if you're juggling people in the air, then you look cool and you get points for it.
Yep. Cool. But yeah, other than the fact that you have to start with 3 initial character picks, basically, like no customization initially. You have to customize it after buying stuff. One little thing I want to add, this game is based in Korea, and for those of you who know Koreans like I do, there was recently a law passed in Korea where you cannot play video games for a certain amount of time because Koreans actually there's actually a report that Koreans actually die from playing video games for too long. So basically there's now you have like a Facebook energy bar essentially, and once that energy runs out, you get no experience or anything like that. So the bar doesn't fully refill until you haven't
played for 24 hours.
I think it's actually 2 days.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. Cool. So moving on to probably the big game news of the past couple of weeks, namely the Madoka Magica PSP game, which there's now a streaming promotional video. If you want to go and check that out, I'm sure it's all over everywhere. It will have multiple endings. It'll be an original story, so who knows where that's going to go. They will feature the full transformation sequences for all the magical girls, including the first release of Madoka Kaname's full sequence and Homora's transformation with glasses. So yeah. They'll have the original anime cast. They've got basically the same crew coming back for it, same animation company, whole 9 yards. Bandai Namco will be publishing it. And it will cost a mere $84 for the regular edition, pre-order $155. So yeah.
Dude, that looks really good.
Yeah, hey. Can't go wrong there.
The thing is with like these games, everyone needs to forget that like Japan won't put anything on the PSP. I mean, there's a freaking Black Rock shooter game coming to the PSP.
I hear that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just. Yeah, I mean, would it be any good? Because the thing is that a lot of people forget that with the whole PSP game thing, a lot of what gets thrown in is crap. Like, people forget that there is so much stuff on the PSP in Japan, which kind of annoys me. I think it should do more 3DS stuff. Like, you know, imagine seeing they could advertise transformation sequences in 3D on 3DS. I think that would have been much better, but the conversion hasn't happened yet. So hopefully the 3DS will be the new PSP without being terrible.
We will see. Moving on to some final little bits of news. Otaku was very impressed with itself. They got 31,000 attendees this past year, which was awesome, compared to, example, for Comic-Con, which got 180,000 on day 2. Yeah. Huge there. Meanwhile, over in Anime World, Haruhi Fujioka has married Hikaru. See here who else. Aerith has married Zack, and Shin Asuka has married Luna Maria Hawk. The voice actors Maya Sakamoto and Kenichi Suzumura have married just this past week. They worked together on quite a few anime series, including those that I just mentioned. They're together now, which is very cool. If you're familiar with Maya Sakamoto, she's done a lot of work with Yoko Kanno, done a lot of singing on her work. So apparently they're doing very well, very happy together. So that's cool.
I also think it would just be more fitting if it was like Aerith is like, you know, just married someone else who died in Final Fantasy. Like the guy, who's the guy on Crisis Core?
Anyway, gotta move on. So another weird one. The World Cosplay Summit happened recently over there in the Land of the Rising Sun, and the various folks who worked on that, various Japanese people basically showed up for that in costume. Ooh, wrong image there. Sorry about that. There we go. This is the mayor of Nagoya City. Nagoya. Cosplay. Yeah. So, several, both the mayor and the prefectural governor both showed up cosplaying. Takashi Kawamura played Piccolo, and see here, Governor Hideaki played, let me see if I have this image here. Yeah. He played Lord Dessler. I'm sorry, this is Piccolo. This is Dessler. Dessler from Space Battleship Yamato. So, so folks really getting into it for World Cosplay Summit. 17 different countries took part in World Cosplay Summit with a huge parade. Both of these guys were photographed as part of the big cosplay parade that went down the street, kind of like the Dragon Cosplay. Yeah. Pretty impressive. So, cool seeing folks in, quote-unquote real life getting into the spirit of cosplay. Toei has announced that they are going to expand their theme park, which talks about various stuff, into a full-scale anime museum. They talk about the various anime they have made over time, including Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Kamen Rider live action, things like that. That's cool. Yeah, that's probably why. A new manga magazine will be launching next month. Called New Type Ace. Yes, it's being published by the folks from New Type, but it's not just a Gundam thing. There'll be a Tiger and Bunny manga. The new Last Exile series manga will be in there, as will be Sacred 7, Blood Sea, Toa no Kwan, and various other titles. So they're going to have some pretty major stuff. Also, Haruhiko Mikimoto, the guy who did the original Macross, is moving his Macross the First series over to over there.
Macross.
And so, a major new manga magazine coming, which is pretty cool. And finally, speaking of Gundam, the life-size Gundam statue will be returning to Tokyo in pieces. Fortunately,
what, they have to build it and paint it again? It comes in a massive mold.
Fortunately, it's not due to battle damage or
Where was it once again?
Sorry?
Where was it once again? I know we talked about this right before, like it was moved to somewhere. Where was it again?
No, it's being moved again.
Yeah.
There's a new place.
I know.
It will be.
It's now back in Tokyo, but where was it before that?
I don't recall.
Somewhere in Japan. Don't judge me.
And basically, they're going to put the head and the hand in the park. The advantage being that you can now climb on the Gundam's head and Gundam's hand. So you can actually go in there and take pictures, right next to the Gundam, which is pretty cool. It was first, Daiba, Shizuoka. That's where it was previously.
They could make like a Statue of Liberty style one.
They could. It's crazy what they did with the original one. So that's all the news for this week, and unfortunately we lost Brad, but I want to thank Mini Man for joining us this week.
Hooray! Now I can complain about more things not coming to England.
Thank you, Zan, for joining us as well.
Thank you, friends, and sorry I couldn't talk too much this series today. Nothing to say because a lot of it was lawsuit stuff, and I'm terrible with that.
Fair enough. All right.
Oh yeah, for you curious, it was Driver San Francisco Gamma.
Fair enough. All right.
It's ASX.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Again this